Good evening, everyone. We will begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for the permission and protection granted us, while participating today in God's divine plan of constructing a paradise on this earth. Let us pray together the Amatsu-Norito, the prayer of heaven, followed by the Miroku Prayer. Please stand. 高天原に冠まります。カムロにカムロミのみこともちで、すめにおやかむりざなぎのみこと、つくしのいもかのたちはなの、おどのあはぎあらに、いそぎあらいたも、時になりませる。払いどの神たちもろもろのまがこと罪けがれを払いたまえ清めたまえとまおすことのよしを天つかみ国つかみやおよろずの神たちともに雨の口駒の耳振り立てて気を示せとかしこみも回す弥勒大神守りたまえ先はえたまえ弥勒神守りたまえ先はえたまえ教えみよや主の神守りたまえ先はえたまえ教えみよや主の神守りたまえ先はえたまえかんながらたまちはえませ。かんながらたまちはえませ。Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining evermore brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified, as we live your truths given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
May God and Meishu-sama bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Guidance for living in this world. Those who can offer harmonious solution to any problem or difficulty are loved and respected by all. People who do not neglect even the smallest unimportant matters prove to be those capable of accomplishing great deeds. Those who limit their vision and see only small transitory things cannot perceive the way to great eternal truths. In our organization, we often use the expressions shoujo or daijo to represent the small view or the large view. But in reality, those who accomplish great things do so by paying attention to even the smallest details. If you think only on a grand scale without concern for the little things, you end up in failure. It is good to have big ideas, but the small ones are just as necessary. If you neglect small matters, you cannot achieve big goals. So I say, you have to be shoujo and daijo at the same time. You cannot be exclusively one or the other. It is not do good to adhere either to the right or to the left. You have to be balanced. If you think you have to act a certain way, then you are already biased.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the Miroku Association headquarters evening service. Thank you also for continuing praying for world peace, for all victims of wars, of natural disasters, as well as man-made disasters. This evening, I want to share the faith experience of Daniele Fernandes de Rezende from Florianópolis, Santa Catarina, Brazil. Danielle is now 35 years old and embraced our faith 9 years ago, guided by her husband, who was born into a household of Johrei members. She's a nurse, has always valued her profession and material progress. At the birth of their children, she dedicated herself exclusively to homemaking and felt frustrated for not being in the workforce. In 2017, her husband opened a small business that didn't thrive. They faced financial challenges, leading to a financial purification. During this period, she became pessimistic, irritable, and dissatisfied, which caused disharmony in their home. At the time, they had become inactive in our practice of faith. Her husband, despite the difficulties, remained motivated and tried to reassure her, affirming that everything would be fine. September 2021, both her father-in-law and brother-in-law contracted COVID-19. Their conditions worsened, and they needed to be hospitalized and put on ventilators. Her mother-in-law remained steadfast in her prayers in front of the home altar, while her husband found strength and optimism through faith. It became clear to her the difference between the materialistic upbringing she had received and the spiritual upbringing of her husband's family. By a miracle and divine protection, both her father-in-law and brother-in-law were discharged from the hospital and recovered without any complications. Shortly thereafter, Danielle and her husband returned to the practice of faith, dedicating once a week at the Johrei Center and channeling Johrei at home. She also took Ikebana Sangetsu classes and dedicated to making flower arrangements at the Johrei Center. Their children actively participated in youth activities. January of last year, her husband started a new venture in corporate consulting and is gaining more clients. As a result, their financial situation stabilized. In August, they were granted permission to receive Meishu-sama's calligraphy, Hikari no Ie, which is home of light. Their home is harmonious and the family is united. Currently, Danielle is working in her field with a 6-hour weekly schedule, allowing her to balance work, dedication, and family. Through this experience, she understood that everything happens at the right time. Daniela's faith has strengthened, and she has developed more patience and is calmer. She expresses gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for all the transformations and protection. Her goal is to continue spreading the divine light to everyone and be a useful element in the construction of paradise on earth. Thank you very much for attending this evening service, for listening to this beautiful faith experience. Wish you a most pleasant evening.
This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us. We wish you a very blessed evening.